HndrxX Podcast, and I am your humble host, Big Bro Tone. Yes, I know it has been a while. I know it's been a long time since my last episode. To be quite exact, my last episode dropped probably in November or something. Around that time, I think I dropped about maybe 3 episodes in succession. Something like that. But nonetheless, it was a lot of time off from this podcast. And I know that's something that shouldn't be going on. I know that's something that I should have been nipping in the bud earlier on when I addressed it before in earlier episodes. But the holiday season is always a hectic season, just in general. Just with working and, family, events that you probably really don't want to go to, but you have to go to because of obligations. 2018, that last quarter was a hectic time. Not only just for me, but for my bank account as well. I took a major hit, but that's still no excuse from being away from you guys, from being away from my baby. The Let's Be Honest podcast. I have done you guys a disservice, and I truly am sorry. But never again. We in a new year. It's 2019. And 2019 has been I don't know why, but these days in January have just been flying by. Slowly but surely. It's Martin Luther King Day. Happy MLK Day. That's huge. Another MLK Day, 2019. I feel like this should be a day of just not only, peace, but also a moment of solidarity amongst our people, amongst everyone in this country. It's been an extremely rough time since 2019 has started. We are in yet another government shutdown. But this one is unlike any of the ones before. This one is actually quite uncanny. We're being led by a president who doesn't really care about the people around him, nor does he care about the decisions that affect the people that are in this country. He tends to just make a mockery of the entire judicial system and make a mockery of the entire executive branch, and he just makes an entire mockery of what it means to be president and to lead and just to be a human being. He's just not someone I would have put my faith in at all. He's a bigot. He's a racist. And, instead of responding with negativity, today should just be a day of peace. We should just try to spread as much love and unity as much as possible amongst our people, because Lord knows they praying on our downfall, and he's hoping that we just take each other out. But hell no, this is not going to be one of those. It's not going to be one of those situations. Another MLK Day is here, and he made a lot of sacrifices. He put himself in a lot of situations he didn't have to be in, but he did it for the sake of the entirety of our people, along with other people as well. So you just gotta, just sit back and just really understand that we came a long way, but we still have a further way to go. But moving on, like I said, we have a crazy ass government shutdown, and it hasn't really been productive whatsoever. It hasn't really put anybody in any good situations. I can't remember exactly for how long we've been in the shutdown, how many days and hours, but essentially we're still in a government shutdown, and it's considered the longest government shutdown in American history. So you do the math on that. You guys think about that. This is the guy that a lot of people in this country voted in. He's the reason why we're experiencing this shutdown. And it's all because he wants to build a wall. A wall that doesn't really, or I don't think will solve any issues. A wall that would just divide the world, just divide people, that would just be unnecessary and unfathomable to even build. He wants $5 billion, to be exact, 5.7 or 5.8, I believe, to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico, because he feels that America's in danger from immigrants and, you know, drug trafficking and, you know, crime, and, you know, he's in the current process of just evicting many immigrants from their homes and deporting them to other countries and putting them into essentially concentration camps. Like, let's be real, that's basically what they are. And people are dying in those concentration camps. Children are dying in those concentration camps. And the government, the president in particular, I won't say his name on this podcast because he won't get no shine on my platform. But this president, he even had the nerve to say, hey, listen, I'll let the government shut down but I'll also protect immigrants from getting deported temporarily. They're known as dreamers. I guess pretty much any Mexican immigrant under the age of 18, I believe, or something like that was born here. I'm not really sure the technicalities of it, but he's promising temporary safety and board for immigrants if they give him the funding for his wall. Now, come on, let's be real. Temporary, and I think to be exact, he said 3 years, from what I read. That doesn't promise anything. That all it does is give a temporary Band-Aid to an ever-growing problem, and that just gives you exactly what you want. You want 5.6. Essentially, you're holding the government hostage. You're holding everyone's paycheck hostage just for your $5.7 billion for a wall that doesn't need to exist. Like, I don't think this is productive whatsoever. People are literally forced to work without pay. People cannot feed their families. This is sad. And all because we have someone who's trying to divide our world, who's trying to divide us as a people. All he does and all he has done is encourage terrible, negative, racist, just unproductive behavior. And I just can't imagine having someone like that, you know, in office for any longer. And I pray this is the last term. His first term will be his last term. I pray this will not continue. But as far as just in the moment, this shutdown has to end because people are truly being devastated because of it. You know, it's a weird time, but I pray that we will make it through it. It's rough, but we're gonna make it through it as a people. We just gotta, like I said, respond with positivity, unity, and love, and just, you know, holding each other down and just also holding each other accountable as well. That's the biggest thing, in my humble opinion. But moving on, a lot, again, I mentioned 2019 has been very interesting. 2019 has given birth to, well, not 2019, but essentially 2019 has given birth to a lifetime event known as Surviving R. Kelly, and that shit is crazy. It was crazy when it was out. I think they still airing it, but you know, this is an ongoing thing, and R. Kelly is under a lot of fire, as he should be. Everyone has always known that R. Kelly has preferred younger women. I'm jumping right into it. Everybody knew R. Kelly preferred younger women, and that's against the law. That's fucking disgusting. And he has truly taken advantage of a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of young women, a lot of families in his rise to fame throughout his entire career. Essentially, the most notable, Aaliyah, God rest her soul. Her birthday was just last week, I believe. Everyone knows he executive produced her album. People also know that he married that girl when she was, I believe, 15 or 16. That's fucking unheard of. And he was way older than her. She's way below the legal age. It's fucking disgusting. The man has violated so many women, and Surviving R. Kelly has put him in such a situation where as though he's been dropped by his label, Sony, RCA, to be exact. It's crazy. It's honestly hard to believe. You got to think though. After all these years, people have believed, I believe even, R. Kelly was Teflon. There was no way people were going to be able to bring that man down. I never thought it could happen. Just because, you know, he's been doing this since the 90s. And you think he's made it very clear. And it's so fucked up. When you listen to some of his music, when you go back now, my mind's telling me no. But my body's telling me yes. What? Yo, that sounds crazy when you think about everything that's, you know, come to fruition. That's insane. What else? Aaliyah's, he executive produced Aaliyah's first album, her debut album. What was the name of it? Age and Nothing But a Number. And you see him on the cover art, just standing in the background. It's insane. It's crazy when you think about everything that came, you know, after. It's just wow. But I'm glad he's being targeted the way he is. When you watch that, I'm gonna be honest. I never really grew up the biggest R. Kelly fan. It wasn't like I listened to his music on a daily. He wasn't somebody that influenced my life in its entirety. I'm only 24, so I don't really have much connection to R. Kelly besides artists who've been influenced by his music, like, you know, Trey Songz and Chris Brown and artists of that nature. But watching the documentary, or watching the docu-series on Lifetime, it really put things into perspective. Like, damn, like, if I had a daughter that'd fuck my head up, if I had a sister that'd fuck my head up, I really can't put myself in that mindset to understand the evil plight behind R. Kelly. What is his motive? What is he going for? The man has a sickness, and you get a sense for the root of his sickness in the documentary. I'm not trying to dig too deep into it, to be honest. I just want to touch on it. Like the R. Kelly situation is growing and it's getting traction, and people are on to him as they should have been. But hey, listen, I'm a firm believer in never late than never. Never late than never. I'm a firm believer in that. So it doesn't really matter what he does at this point. He's not safe. Rumor has it he's trying to flee to Africa. Rumor has it he's having panic attacks because of the things that are coming down on him. Well, guess what? It's about damn time, Robert Kelly. It's about damn time. You know, it's so crazy. Dave Chappelle said that, I think it was Neil Brennan. One of them said that Dave Chappelle got pressed by R. Kelly goons because of the whole Piss on You skit he did on the Dave Chappelle show back in the early 2000s. It's crazy. That shit was wild. But listen, people was hip to R. Kelly, but he just got off so many times. People just gave up on that fight until somebody, you know, came to the forefront and put it on Front Street again. And better late than never. Better late than never. That's what I always say. Shifting gears into something a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more entertaining. Soulja, Big Draco, Soulja Boy. Yo, Soulja Boy been on a tear, a rampage, I like to call it. Now, Soulja Boy just want people to put some respect on his name. And, you know, everyone recalls Soulja Boy's past couple years, you know, beefs with the rap game in its entirety, almost, as he would like to call it. Especially Chris Brown, the whole fight thing that was going to get set up. Soulja Boy is on the tear right now, and he's going to the Breakfast Club. Well, he started with viral videos just claiming that he was just had the best 2018 above everybody else. No one agrees, of course. I firmly believe Meek Mill had the best 2018 above everybody else, the best comeback of 2018. But Soulja Boy has been on the rampage. He's been on the Breakfast Club, Everyday Struggle, Complex News interviews, just snapping, just essentially claiming that no one's been giving him the credit he deserves, and not really putting respect on his name in regards to him paving the way for current artists and the way music is being delivered, the way music is being released. Excuse me. Um, just the whole, I guess, wave of music that's out, claiming he made certain artists like Drake, Tyga, Famous Dex, many artists that he claimed, but he's not. If you really listen to him, it's kind of inflated the way he's saying it, but he's not necessarily lying. Like, when Crank That Soulja Boy came out, and he was one of the first artists to break off of MySpace and off social media and stuff like that. And he paved the way for artists that had social media and make it relevant and actually prevalent. I'm sorry, for artists that have social media. He changed the way the music was being consumed because of how massive the song "Crank That Soulja Boy" was. He was definitely influential, like in a space, in a pocket for sure. He definitely put artists in places to win, like Chief Keef. He had his hands in areas, but he was just always young. In his eyes, he just never wanted to put people on papers because he felt like he couldn't imagine himself putting somebody else's future in his hands. So that's why he only just worked with people and put them in position instead of putting them on papers, But Soulja has just been going at Kanye, saying the right things about Kanye. Of course, Kanye needs somebody to check his ass, but just going off about any and everybody just snapping. Big Soulja, man, this is nothing new. A lot of people. He recently got checked by Casanova too. That's the crazy thing. He definitely got checked by Casanova as of late. I don't know where they was at, but nigga Casanova essentially was at him like, you can't be talking to a woman like that. You snapping, you going crazy. Like, what's going on? You got shit all over your face. So just killing me. All I do is weed, bro. It was just a funny situation. Everybody's seen the video. It's everywhere. You just gotta know where to look. Soulja, relax, man. And I don't mind Soulja having the hustler mentality. He grinded. He still maintained relevancy somehow for 12 years. Let's be real. Crank That Soulja Boy came out in 07. It's 2019 now. Soulja Boy is still a thing. You got to give him credit for that. Managed to keep himself, affluent enough to, just stay with the wave, I guess. Came in with a video game console, the Soulja Watch. I mean, listen, the man is a hustler. He trying out there. Like him and Ray J similar in that way. Like just having that hustler mentality. Ray J just a little bit more clean around he was just a little more clean around the edges, whereas though Soulja's a little bit more rough around the edges. Rough, like Soulja need to clean up a little bit. And he not looking good out here. But Soulja like having multiple businesses, that's like nothing wrong with that, man. Just keep it up. But you gotta stay out the fucking way, man. Just stay out the trouble, man. Nobody trying to play you, bro. You good, man. Soulja Boy, everybody knows the lane you paved. Just be cool. Just relax. You good, big dog. You good, Big Draco. You good. You good, Big Draco. We don't want no smoke. We don't want none. Now, I want to talk more about music. Now that I got all the current events out of the way, I want to talk more about music. Future dropped his new album at the top of 2019. Future Hndrxx Presents The WIZRD. Dope project, I must say. Very dope project. 20 tracks, about an hour in length. Not too long. 20 tracks, and you could kind of just flow right through them. You know what I mean? But they're quality tracks, though. You could tell you kind of get a sense for Future's different styles and ranges and his different cadences throughout the whole project, and his ability to just go up tempo and down tempo, and his ability to just capture different melodies. You definitely get a good sense of that on this project. Before the project even dropped, he actually started with the WIZRD documentary. That just kind of documented, they kind of briefly documented his rise from, his relations with the Dudgeon family, and how his President Rico Wade put him on. Also tracked him on tour, the Purple Rain tour, the Summer 16 tour. Kept tracking his relationship with his family. It was just dope to see Future finally opened up. You know, you never really see. That's the thing. You never really seen Future really do interviews, open up. You never really seen Future do none of that stuff. And it's dope to see him do it, in my opinion. Like, I think Future is a dope artist. You know what I mean? Definitely one of the biggest trendsetters of the game. One of the biggest trendsetters of the past almost 10 years. Future really got going in 2011, 2012. That was the time when his career really got the first kickstart, the first jump. And he never looked back. You know? Going almost 10 years solid in the game, just trendsetting, making the sound a wave. And you know, in the documentary, he speak on his beginnings, carving out his sound, his lifestyle, relationships, aspirations, people he looked up to. It was just a real dope documentary with dope visuals as well. Dope visuals. You get to see Future you kind of get to see Future in ways you never really saw him before. You saw people in the documentary like Andre 3000. Andre 3000 showed a lot of love to Future, because they got connections through the Dungeon family. So Andre 3000, 3 Stacks actually said Future makes the most inspirational negative music ever. So however you want to break that down, but if I'm thinking about it, it's like that's a pretty interesting way of looking at Future's music, because Future's always dabbled in the dark side of the human mind, the dark side of what humans go through, dealing with pain, balancing your vices. He's always talked about that in his music. And just balancing the lifestyle of his love life with his celebrity life, his career. Just his entire career, his musical style has always been sort of like a balance in that. And it's pretty dope to be able to track your artists. I guess I don't want to call it roller coaster, but track their ups and their downs through the music, and just be able to see how they're feeling in that moment. That's always dope to me. But the WIZRD documentary was very dope. You should check that out. It was only on Epic Music, so it's just very easy to get to. You should check that out. I think one of the most interesting things in the documentary, in the documentary was the fact that he said, he was like, well, not just him, but I got it right here. Let me see. He said, like, Future makes so much music. He makes so much music. And and let me preface it with this. He touches on his relationship with engineers like Seth Farkin, God rest his soul. That was his friend who passed away. He touches on that relationship and what that meant to him, and his relationship with DJ Esco. DJ Esco plays a big part in his career and his development as an artist and his rise and carving out Future's sound. And saying all that, Future makes so much music. He makes so much music that he trusts people like DJ Esco and people like Seth Farkin, God rest his soul once again, to help him pick the music that should go out to the masses. Pick the best music that should be consumed. And that's dope. It's interesting. It's actually it's more telling than anything. I can only imagine when you create something, when you create so much of one thing and different versions of it as well, it's easy to probably get lost in yourself, since you're the one creating it. So you need people outside to help you filter through it. I can imagine that. But on the other side, could that, I'm going to challenge it also. One could also say that by making so much music, are you lessening the quality as well? quantity versus quality. At the end of the day, you can truly never really have you can never really have both. You can balance the two for sure, but you can never truly have both. So, nonetheless, like I said, I'm a huge Future fan. So he's never truly disappointed. I just think some people want him to take that next level in his storytelling, his music, and his life. You know, see if he can go beyond just the lean and the pill and the drug rapping, you know, stuff of that nature. Because he actually revealed that he stopped drinking lean, but he also said that he didn't want to reveal that because he was afraid people was going to stop consuming the music the same. If people were going to look at him the same, he was concerned about all that kind of stuff. And I can understand that, especially when you've established something and you don't want that rush to end, don't want that wave to end, don't want people to look at you less than because you work so hard to build something. But you gotta trust your fans, Future. You've developed something. You built something, and people care about you. You opening up this much actually helps the situation. In my opinion, it helps. It kind of puts a cushion if you want to actually go in a different lane. Because I love when Future gave him his, you know, R&B shit. Like that Hendrix album he dropped, that was dope. You know what I mean? That shit was just spectacular. It was sensational. But Future Hndrxx, you know, this album is big. It's almost like the culmination of everything he's done. It's almost like he's put himself